Time to take a look at what's grabbing headlines here in France. Florence Villamino is with me on set. Hey, Flo. The main focus is a ceremony today that's going to be held later to induct 4 heroes of the French Resistance faced with the Nazi occupation during World War II.
We were hearing about that just in that news report. It's really the main story today in the French press. The French press is very emotional today. Let's take a look, first of all, at the front page of Aujourd'hui en France, Le Parisien. It talks about how France is celebrating its heroes here, and you can see a photo there of Le Panthéon. So Le Panthéon is this monument on the left bank here in Paris that serves as this final resting place for national heroes, so illustrious writers, artists, scientists. It's a huge deal to be inducted into the Panthéon in the 224 years that it's been a monument. Only 71 people have been interred or commemorated there, so this is a huge deal that 4 more people.
Very high bar. Tell us about these 4 resistance.
Well, we've been hearing about it in the news this morning, and if you want more information, you can also take a look inside Aujourd'hui en France, Le Parisien. They have this profile here of these 4 heroes, so 2 women, 2 men. The men, Pierre Brossolette, a journalist who committed suicide under torture in 1944. You also have Jean Zay, who was 40 when he died, a Jewish former education minister. He was murdered by pro-Nazi militants. And actually, there's an interesting fact. He's credited with inventing the Cannes Film Festival.
No way.
Absolutely. And also there, of course, the 2 women, Geneviève de Gaulle Antonioz, the niece of General de Gaulle, the very famous Charles de Gaulle. She went on to campaign for poor people throughout her life. And then Germaine Tillion, the leader of a resistance group here in Paris, and she went on to campaign also for the rest of her life, this time for equality among cultures.
Will of focus on the fact that there are 2 women in this lot. There's so few of them today.
Absolutely.
In the Pantheon.
Official list of great French women tripled today, actually, because up until now, only 1 woman, the scientist Marie Curie, has been admitted to the Panthéon for a result of her own achievements. Another woman was buried by her husband. Now, on the facade of the Panthéon, there's an inscription, a carved inscription that says, "For our great men from a grateful homeland." If we take a look at La Croix, the Christian paper, they've updated that inscription. You can see it says, "For our great women from a very grateful homeland." And La Croix says, it's really about time that we paid tribute to the very important role that women played, not only during the resistance, but in French history in general.
Absolutely. Now, President François Hollande will be paying tribute to the 4 national heroes at the ceremony later today. Many papers are focusing on how it's kind of a political move for the president. Makes him look good.
Absolutely. Le Parisien says that's 45 minutes to mark his presidency. Now, this ceremony is much more than a random photo shoot, according to Aujourd'hui en France, Le Parisien. Today is going to be really a moment where he can try to impose a legacy, if you will. Well, for once, it's not going to be about the unemployment or about national debt, etc. He's really going to be able to personify a unified republic around these values and the spirit of the resistance.
And other papers are critical of the president for trying to steal the spotlight.
That's right. That's exactly what Le Figaro, which is the main right-wing paper here, of course, not a big fan of François Hollande. On their front page, they say that Hollande is trying to make history, and in their editorial, they really accuse him of using this ceremony at the Pantheon to steal oxygen that he's not getting anywhere else. But even the nicest of speeches isn't going to make things like unemployment, insecurity, the deficit disappear like magic. It's not hard to see that this is really a PR campaign, according to Le Figaro. A possible trap as well. If we take a look at another article in Le Figaro says that it could be a trap for the president. The challenge will be to hoist himself to this very historic moment without obviously using it for his own purposes.
Now, finally, left-leaning paper Libération is a little bit more friendly. It turns to the present and tries to imagine what a modern French hero would look like.
That's right. What would a 21st century national hero look like? Well, Libération tries to establish this profile, if you will, of a modern hero that could be, inducted to the Panthéon today, because according to Libération, it's a real question. Is the Panthéon still useful? Is it still relevant today? Because after all, first of all, the monument has largely been abandoned by the general
kind of a
public.
dusty old storeroom for great leaders.
Not very many people go there, and so according to Libération, is this still useful? Is the symbol still useful, or is this just old-fashioned nostalgia? Libération in its editorial says, yes, this is a very important thing. It's important to have these national heroes. It's a symbolic gesture. It's a political gesture. Why is it important? Well, it's because they can inspire other people to also be heroic.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that inspiring talk. Thank you, Florence Villamino. We'll be back with the International Press Review in just a bit. Thank you so much for that.